This class is going to have some work to do with some legs and hip stuff. One of the things, again, those of you guys have been doing some studying with me for a while, you know that I've been on this road of yoga actually went off the rails of too much flexibility and a lot of people getting hip injuries particularly. And so I tend to work a little bit more with strengthening in the hips, because even that is shown, the research has shown that that will actually help us with flexibility as well. So in this class today, we're going to be doing some stuff with working with the muscles around the hips. I'm going to be doing a little bit of work that comes from functional range conditioning, which is some great stuff. And so as always, what I want to encourage you to do is please make sure that you're working in a comfortable zone for yourself. That whole going into pain or trying to do the ultimate is really a thing of the past. And what we are going to be working within is hopefully your active range, where it is that if your hands aren't helping your legs move and you're not relaxing into it, but your muscles are moving your body, that's usually the healthiest and safest range for you. I don't tend to take things into end range or passive range of motion too often. I do a little bit, but I'm working with strengthening into those ranges. So today's going to kind of take us into that. So just know for you and your body, please work in a careful place. Again, because of the Zoom format, I see you guys as tiny little boxes and I'm not seeing all of you at once. And so I can't be there to help you decide that might be a little too far for you. So please be mindful of that. All right, let's get going. So finding a comfortable seat for meditation. Again, it can be in a chair, it can be sitting crossways, it could be sitting on your heels with some blocks or something to support you. We're going to be here for a couple minutes here at the beginning of class and also at the end of class. So having found that, and as a couple of you are just joining and finding that, go ahead and just give yourself a couple rocks forward and back. Get a little motion. You should feel like your back is kind of doing a little bit of a back bend and then a little bit of a forward bend as you move back and forth. And then find that middle place. Where does it feel like those two bones feel fairly evenly side to side, but also front to back placed on there? From here, hopefully your legs are comfortable reaching down. If not, take one of your blocks or a blanket and put it underneath the side if it needs some of that support. And then right now, just move your shoulders a couple times. Find again there any motion that's going to help you get comfortable sitting quietly for a moment. And your head and neck. If there's any stuff from your nighttime or you wake up with a little stiffness in your head or neck, just any movement that'll help that. Resting your hands comfortably on your legs in your lap. And then go ahead and close your eyes or soften your gaze and find just one point to softly gaze at. And just arrive into this moment. Taking right here now a couple breaths to allow yourself to scan through your body. Find and feel any places that may be asking you for a little bit of extra care or attention this morning. And just starting off by trying to take your breath into those places. Do a nice full exhale to help yourself release. Keeping an eye on your mind and noticing if in your mind you're feeling there's a lot of chatter going on there, and just watch that. It's okay. That's what our minds sometimes do, but see how much, if you turn your awareness to that, that you might become a little bit calmer. Or that might feel like there's a little bit more spaciousness in between the chatter. Right now, see if you can make a commitment to staying in this attitude of careful observation and awareness without judgment. And then take and bring that awareness to your breath. Find right here the feeling of your breath coming in and out. Just allowing that natural pattern to be there. And again, just observing how smooth does it feel right now? What is the volume or depth right now? Again, without any judgment, just simply observing. And with awareness, again, just find what are the emotions that you have present right now. And particularly if your first answer is, I don't have any, then take a look and just allow yourself to be present with what is. Having now come into this place of stillness, thinking about what is your intention for your practice this morning. To whom or what would you like to dedicate your practice today? As you're ready then, bringing your palms together and thumbs to the heart. And we're going to chant Om to come in, again in the Uchara manner, which means we'll resonate an Ah, or an A low in the body, and U around the heart center, and then the nasal sound up here in the nasal cavities, allowing space then for the fourth, or silence, to arise above the head at the end. So we'll exhale together and inhale. May we practice together in peace and harmony. Namaste. And with dogs. This is Tosca, by the way, who is joining us for class this morning. All right. So having, go ahead and lean back if you're sitting cross-legged and switch the cross of your legs, other one on top or in front. If you're sitting in a chair, sitting on your heels or in Thunderbolt, that's fine to stay there or shift position. So as you guys who joined class on Monday, remember how we did Bastriki. So we're going to do that again today. Bastriki is the bellows breath, and it comes, if you can, put your hand on your low abdomen and just feel, if you were to take a nice full breath, can you feel the expansion down there? Just feel your hand move a little bit, and that exhale. Even down below the navel, you may feel your organs being pushed down that low. That's where we want this breath to come. And it comes through the nose if you can, unless your nose is plugged. And it's going to be a fairly forceful inhale and exhale. What I want you to do is just be aware, those of you guys that have high blood pressure or that have anything like a hiatal hernia or reflux, you may want to not do this. You may want to just maybe make your inhale and exhale, your natural one, just a little bit deeper and fuller. Those of you guys that don't have any of those considerations, we're going to do about 10 of these breaths. And we'll pause and we'll do one more round of this. You can always close or soften your eyes with this. If you want to, leave your hand here. And here we go. Inhale. Exhale. That should be about 10. So release and just pause and watch. If you got dizzy at all from doing this, next time maybe only do 5 or 6. Just observe how it feels within you. Where are you feeling that things changed as a result of breathing like this? And again, if you found that that wasn't right for you, just allow yourself to do your natural breathing, maybe just a little bit fuller and deeper. Those of you guys that can do your Bastriki, we're going to do one more round. And here we begin. And go back to your natural breath, once again observing. Where do you feel perhaps an increase of the energy within you? I find this breath can be helpful sometimes when I need to go into something and I don't have the chance to do anything physically with my body, but I want to go in and be really present in a meeting or something like that. I always like this one. All right, So now go ahead and stretch your legs out. And what I want you to do is I'm going to demonstrate this, but I'm also going to have you watch Elodie doing this. We're going to bring the right leg forward into a position almost like you're making a box with this leg. So your shin is going to be fairly parallel with the front of your mat. Your knee is bent. And then your left leg, you're going to start to bring the knee down and try to also make a square shape with this leg. So if you can, without hurting these guys. And just be aware too, if you have a lot of bony stuff, you may actually want a blanket under this leg as well. I'm going to just bring this out a little bit more. And then Elodie, bring that leg out, your right leg out a little bit more to the side, just like that. Now what might happen is your left hip may come off of your mat. So now take your two hands and frame your right leg. Go ahead and bring them back behind. So this one's going to be here and your other one's going to be on this side of your body. That's right, you're not twisting. You're facing your right leg now. Now all I want you to notice is some of you might already be like, whoa, this is intense. In that case, start to draw your knees a little bit more towards each other. If you can tolerate this, we're going to stay here for a couple breaths. And what I'm going to have you do, you can use your hands to support you. You're going to gently, on your inhale, start to press down with your right leg a little bit more. And then on your inhales, release that. Or either one. One of the breaths, you're going to try to press down a little bit more. And then on the other breath release. One more time. Pressing down and then release. All right. Now I'm going to have Elodie turn to face towards her other leg, but without moving the legs. Turning her body. Nope, without moving the legs.
Okay.
Yep. See if you can turn to kind of face that left leg. Again, with your hands kind of framing the leg. Like this, all right? And the same thing, you're going to do the same thing now with this leg. On one of your breaths, press down. On the other breath, release that action. Again, 2 more times. And releasing. And one more time, activate and release. Now, we're going to turn back towards the right leg, again without moving the leg. Coming back into this. Now this time, what Elodie's going to do is she's going to try to drag her leg back towards her body, but again, without moving it. And again, doing that on one of the breaths, and then releasing it on either your inhale or exhale. Inhale or exhale, activate that dragging in towards your body, and exhale, release. And one more time, activate and release. Good. Now we're going to do the same thing again, turning towards your left leg. So this time again, you're trying to drag the leg towards you. So activating that on one of your inhales or exhales, and on the opposite, release. Inhale or exhale, drag and release. One more time, drag and release. Good. Now relax your legs. Go ahead and set them out in front. How'd that feel?
Nice.
All right. So it should be feeling like you're getting a lot of activity in the muscles around your hips, maybe even on the inside of your thighs. It should feel okay. If this is not feeling okay, bring your legs closer together or don't do it intensely at all. Maybe just try to sit in that position. Now we're going to switch the legs into the other side. So the left knee is going to be the one that's kind of in front and the right leg behind. So those of you guys that are paying attention to this, what you're noticing is your front leg is in an external rotation. Your back leg is in an internal rotation. And what we're doing is we're strengthening the muscles in this position. All right, so the first one we're going to do is facing this front leg, one hand on each side with your left leg now in front. You're first doing the pressing down and then releasing that. 3 times, 3 breaths, pressing down, releasing on the opposite breath. One more time, pressing down and releasing. Good. Turning now to face your right leg, trying to keep it in kind of that box position. And again, we're going to press down with one of the breaths and release on the opposite one. Pressing down and releasing. And one more time, pressing down and releasing. Okay, good. We're going to turn back to this one, and this is the one where you're going to drag. Now again, think about trying to do this at about maybe up to 20% of your body's ability to do this, especially if you're starting. So you're dragging on one breath and releasing on the other. Dragging it back towards you, releasing. And one more time, dragging and releasing. Good. And then again, turning to face now your right leg. Same thing on this leg. So as you start to activate, you're going to drag it towards you on your one breath and release that action on your opposite breath. Again, 2 more times, and release, and the drag, and release. Good. And release those legs back out in front. And then just give them a little wiggle, wiggle, right? You can always bend the knees and just kind of turn from side to side. And you may find, oh, my hips feel a little bit more juicy than normal. All right. So what I want you to do before, we're going to come down on the back, but before we do that, I'm actually going to have Elodie come down onto her back. And if you can, Elodie, I'm going to put the blanket down so you're not on the ground. All right. And bend your knees. One of the things that we're going to do here is we're going to do that kind of dragging the heels towards you. So just even in this position, which I'm going to call the constructive rest position, your body's laying like this and your heels are on the ground. All you're simply going to do is kind of press down into your feet and drag your heels a little bit towards your body. All right. So this is going to feel like you should start to activate in the hamstrings. Okay. I wanted you to see that before we came down and onto the back. So go ahead and get yourself down onto your back if you aren't already. If you want to get onto your mat, you can get onto your mat. Thank you. All right. So go ahead and get into your constructive rest position. You're laying on your back or lying on your back, I think is correct, with your heels down on the ground. Your arms can be out at your sides or right by your sides. It doesn't matter. And all I want you to do is I want you to just feel your feet reaching down into the ground a little bit more. When you do that, you might even feel some activity in the back of your legs. You might feel it even up into your gluteals, even into your abdominals. If you were to hold that for a couple more breaths, you're going to feel that start to radiate through your body, which is a great thing. Now holding that in place, because this pushing down, you're now going to start to activate dragging your heels just lightly towards your gluteals. You want to start this at maybe 10% of your body's ability to do so. And if you're really feeling the hamstrings right about now, go ahead and start to release. One more time, inhale and start to drag your heels towards your gluteals. And hold for a breath or two, maybe up to 20% of your body's ability, not much more than that. And now go ahead and release. Depending on how your hamstrings are feeling, if you're feeling like you've got it in you to do one more of these, go ahead and do one more time, pressing down the heels and then starting to drag your heels towards your body. And you should feel the activity in the gluteals, but also in those hamstring muscles, maybe for one more breath, maybe not. And then exhale, release. Good. Go ahead and shake out your legs or reach them out and kind of move your feet back and forth as your legs are stretched out. Point your toes away from you, draw them in towards you. Good. Now we're going to stay on the back. And this time what we're going to do is we're going to lift up and down with your breath into a nice and easy bridge pose. We're not coming up into a full bridge pose. So again, your knees are bent and your feet are on the ground. Now remember this activity that you just did. If your back of your legs aren't already all tired out, you're going to use that before you lift up. So first pressing your feet down into the ground, activate that light dragging your heels towards your body, and then use an inhale to lift your spine up and off the ground and exhale it back and down. Doing this maybe 3 times. If it's feeling like it's too much for your legs, don't worry about the activation of the legs. Just simply go up and down into your bridge pose, lifting your spine vertebrae by vertebrae up off the ground and exhaling back and down. 3 times in total. Inhaling, coming up, and exhaling to come on back and down. Good. All right. Now we're going to do one other thing here on the ground. And this is, you're going to keep right now your left leg on the ground and your knees bent. You may want to bring your heels just a little bit farther towards your gluteus. That's it. And now you're going to lift up your right leg. Just draw your knee without using your arms as far into your body as you can. Now start turning your knee to the outside of your body and see if you can cross your ankle over that left thigh. Like you're sitting in a cross-legged position, but you have to be laying on the ground. Right here, if you cannot do that, then just simply cross knee over knee. All I want you to do, again, this is all without using your hands, is I want you to now see, can you pick up your left leg and draw it up and in towards your body? You're going to get a nice stretch on the outside of your right thigh, and you're doing some work on your left thigh. Only as far as you can without using your hands. Hold this for 1, 2, or 3 more breaths. And when you're ready, Then gently and mindfully bring that foot back down, left foot back down, undo your right leg, and just stay here for a moment in your constructive rest position and feel what both of your hips are feeling like. Your right leg may be feeling a little different than your left. Yeah, so we're gonna do the same thing now, but the right leg is gonna be the stable leg. So your right heel is gonna stay on the ground. First, just draw your left knee as far into your body as you can without using your arms. Now start to rotate that left knee to the left side of your body. That's it. And if you can, cross your left ankle over your right knee or thigh. Now, if you can't do this, again, maybe just stack your left knee on top of your right knee. Right here, all I want you to do, again without using your arms, is start to inhale and start to draw that right knee up and towards your body. And again, if that doesn't feel comfortable, don't worry about it. Right here, take a breath or two. Just keep trying to bring that right knee in. Feel the stretch on the outside of the left thigh. I want you to pay attention to that. And then bring the leg back and down. Good. And bring your left foot back down. Again, stretch out both of the legs if you want to, and just do a little wiggle, wiggle if you need to. Now I'm going to have you come back into constructive rest position again, bending the knees. So we're going to do exactly what we did this last time, either crossing your left ankle or your right ankle over your left thigh, or the knee over the knee. So first start drawing your right knee up and into your body, then take it out to the side of your body, cross your ankle over your left thigh, or knee over knee. Now this time, before we start to draw your left thigh into your body, what I want you to do is with your right leg is try to now push out against your left leg. Feel that? Now lift your left leg up and into your body, but keep your right leg pushing against the left leg. Again, maybe about 20%. You should feel a lot more activity this time. Good. And exhale, bring that foot back down. And undo this leg. Again, do maybe a little wiggle, wiggle. And we're going to do the same thing with the left leg. So first you're going to lift up your left knee, take it in towards your body, start to rotate the left knee to the outside, cross the ankle over the right thigh. Now activate, your left leg is pushing out against your right thigh, and then you're going to start to lift up that right leg and bring it up and into your body. You should feel a lot of activity around your thighs, your abdomen, your back right now. Maybe 1, 2, or 3 breaths. Whenever it is that you need to come down, gently exhale, release the muscular activity, and come back down. And then release this left leg, bring it on down, stretch both of your legs out, and again, a little wiggle, wiggle. Good, so I'm just gonna take you into an easy twist right now because your back and your legs are like, what? So go ahead and just hug your knees on into your body. And just nice and easily, you can either rock and roll a little bit if you want, or just nice and easily just draw your knees over to the left. It's okay if that right arm comes off the ground for a moment. Just breathe into the outside of your right hip and your low back for a moment. Only a breath or two. And then I'm going to have you inhale and bring those knees back and up. And you're going to do the same thing, go over to the right. Let the knees come down. You can always use your block or a blanket underneath it. Breathe into that left hip and the low back. So these warm-ups are a really nice way to actively get your muscles working, yet at the same time working with flexibility. And because we're not using our hands to pull things in, what we did is we worked in the active range of motion versus the passive range of motion, which is a lot safer for your hips. All right, well, enough of that fun. Now what we're gonna do is I'm gonna have you come over and onto your side, and we're gonna do a couple of what we call clamshells. Do you want to? Yeah. So you're going to come onto your side. I'm going to have, again, if you can peek at Elodie, she's going to show you for a minute. You're going to be on your side. You can rest your arm like this, or you could actually hold your head up like that, or put a blanket underneath there. And you're going to keep your feet together. You're just going to use the muscles on the outside of your hip to open the knees like a clamshell and close them back together. That's all they are. So coming onto one of your sides, it doesn't matter which one. You can start to join Elodie in doing these. And I'm going to have you test, how does the outer hip feel? If after 3 it starts to feel really fatigued, see if you can do 1 or 2 more, up to perhaps 10 or 12. Use your breath with each repetition. And those of you guys that are used to doing these, if you've done these before, you may already know, like you might need to put a little bit extra weight by using your hand on your leg. I'm not having you use resistance bands or anything like that today, but some of you know resistance bands are really great with this too. Good. All right, so once you've reached that number where you know, okay, this is enough, you're going to then turn yourself over and onto the other side. Get the same setup going on so that you've got your other hip on the ground, a comfortable resting spot for your head, whether it be on some blankets or you're just putting your elbow down on the ground. Feet stay joined together. And then using an inhale or an exhale, lift up, and on the opposite, come back and down. This is targeting gluteus medius, which is one of our weaker, typically for me anyway, of the gluteal muscles because I do a lot of sitting. And so this is a great one to do. I do this one almost every other day. Good. Again, use your breath and just check in, especially if you haven't done a lot of work targeting this particular muscle group. What you're going to find is you may start to feel fatigue sooner. So just see, can I do maybe one, maybe two more after that? And then that's enough for today. So find the right number for you. Once you have finished your clamshells, then I'm going to meet you here on your hands and knees. Again, we're not going to be here too long, but it might be comfortable, a little bit more comfortable. Those of you guys that want to have a blanket underneath the knees. All right, just stand up on your knees for a moment. How are those hips feeling? Hip, hip, hooray. Yeah, they're alive. Okay, so what we're going to do here is we're going to do, again, a little wrist strengthener. So just you might want to give your wrists a couple of warm-ups like this. So what this one looks like is you come down, you're going to lift your thumbs up and have your hands, your palms up. So just the base of your fingers and your fingers around the ground. If you can see Elodie, and she has her thumbs lifted. What she's going to do is then she's going to lower that back down and then lift back up. And you want to keep your thumbs off of the ground as you're doing this because we want to get into some muscles right in the forearm and wrist. Now you can make this a little bit more difficult or more body weight if you have your hands closer to being under your shoulders, a little bit less body weight if they're out farther ahead of the shoulders. So find for you where it's that right place. And again, just using one breath to lift up and another breath to come down. Find the repetition that's right for you. Somewhere, I would say, between 5 to 10. Especially if you aren't used to doing this. If you find that after a couple of these, you start to feel fatigue here in the forearm muscles, then do one more and then stop. Once you finish the number that's right for you, you're going to want to come up onto your knees again or sit on your heels and just again do a little rolling out movement of the wrists. Good. All right. Now what we're going to do today is we're going to come into and do a couple cat-cows, but then after that we're going to do some crawling. So I just want you to pay attention for a moment. In crawling, and I'm going to move my blanket out of the way for a moment, you're going to want to come to the end of your mat, is we're going to work with coordinating the hands and the knee to try to come down at the same time. And so for all of us that think, oh, this is easy peasy, no. It may not be. This coordination of the hand and the knee requires a little bit more engagement of the abdominals. Now, for some of you that feel like you want even more because you do a lot of really strong ab work and you want even more work of that, what you can do is instead of just having your hands and knees down is you could, I'm going to show you from the side, actually do this with lightly lifting your knees, not very far, but doing that same trying to coordinate. Oh, it's a lot harder for me. The hands and the knees moving together. All right. So that's going to be the second part. First, some cat-cows. So finding, again, you could either use your fists if your wrists don't like to be on them too much, or bird's beak, or the hands down on the mat. Find your inhales and exhales. To me, I prefer to arch up into the cat, drop the tailbone down, the head down on an exhale, and an inhale lifting the tailbone, the head, and the chest. But if the opposite works best for you, feel free to do the opposite. Move with your breath, whatever that pace is, and doing this perhaps, again, somewhere between 5-6 times. Find a nice full breath. See how much you can move your spine in both directions. Try to keep a light engagement in the abdominals as while you're doing it. Once you've done that about 5 or 6 times, then I'm going to have you back to the back of your mat, and you're going to make your choice. Again, either hovering the knees or keeping the knees down, whichever one you're doing, engage the abdominals, draw them up just lightly. And then start your crawling, trying to coordinate one hand and your knee, coming down onto your mat, lifting up the exact same time. When you get up towards the front of your mat so that you don't bring your knees off of your mat, especially if you're not on carpeting, then start to go backwards and coordinate this movement going backwards as well. We're going to do this 2 times. So if on the second time you want to try those knees lifted, it really does amp it up quite a bit. So if this is already enough for you, then just simply come back again with the knees grounded. And those of you guys that have any young children that are crawling, now you know you can join them in a coordinated effort. All right, once you've done 2 times up and back, go ahead and just come either sitting on your heels or on your knees and just move your wrists. All right, so believe it or not, all of these things were warm-ups for us today, but it's a really nice practice to do these things. We're going to come up to standing. You're going to want to have your blocks. So bring your blocks over and have them up towards the front of your mat. All right, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to move this just a little bit so that you can see just a little bit more. All right, here we go. We're going to come into, let's drag our mats back a little bit. All right. We're going to go into now some sun salutations. The first one, we are going to kneel down. So if you do like to have that blanket for your knees, please have the blanket in the middle of your mat for your knees. And then come up towards the front of your mat. We're going to find our standing attention pose, Samastihiti. So feel your feet grounding down. Feel the roots of your body extending down into the earth. Feel the crown of your head lifting up and above. Go ahead and bring your hands in front of the heart. We're going to remember here for a moment your intention, your dedication. All right, and here we go. On an exhale, bowing down to that. On the inhale, lifting the arms up and overhead. Keeping your arms lifted up and overhead, feel your rooting down through your feet, and try to balance the lifting of the arms through the rooting of your feet. Inhaling in the center here. On the exhale, just do a nice little twist towards the right. Inhale back to center, and exhale, twist to the left. Inhale back to center, and exhale our first standing forward bend. So nice and easy. Let your knees bend as needed. Bring your hands down to maybe onto your blocks or maybe onto your legs or onto the ground. It all depends on where you're at. Take a couple breaths here and let your head hang for a moment. Do your nodding of yes and no. Remembering to make good and careful choices for your body throughout this. All right, we're going to inhale and come up into a flat spine. On the exhale, bend the knees. Take the right leg back and bring it down. Now right here, you can keep your hands either down on the bricks or come up onto hands on the knee. What I want you to do is I want you to find that scissoring action of the legs. So just like you were doing on your back in the bridge pose, try to draw your front heel down and drag it back. At the same time, push down with your back knee and drag it forward. Feel that activity. It just gets everything working from the pelvic floor up and into your abdominals. Maintain that and inhale the arms up. Now hold here for a couple breaths. If it's comfortable for you, draw your tail down and a little bit of more of the pit of the abdomen in, and you can glide the hips forward or not. And then maybe lift up a little bit more through the heart, or not. One more breath. Good. Now on the exhale, bring your arms down into cactus. Turn towards your front knee. Hold for a breath. On the next exhale, come back to center. Good. Bring your hands down to your bricks. Now right here, we're going to stretch out the hamstrings. We've been activating it. So as you bring your hips back, find the dimension of the blocks that's going to help. You're going to lift up the toes of this front leg. It doesn't need to be fully straight, might have a light bend in it. Inhale here, but on the exhale, just gently come to wherever you start to feel that nice stretch, then press down into that heel and try to drag it back a little bit. We're eccentrically lengthening. One more breath. And inhale to come back and up. Good. Go ahead and bring that other knee back. Put the bricks off to the side for a moment. You can come down and onto the belly either through a push-up, a knee push-up, or knees, chin, chest, which I'm going to do. And then scoop forward, coming onto the abdomen. Good. We're going to do some low cobras. So your feet can be pressing down, hip width apart or slightly wider. Hands lightly under the shoulders. We're just going to move with your breath. So on your exhales, you're facing down towards the floor. Your inhale, your body fills with the breath, and feel it arise, not using the arms very much. Exhale, back and down. 2 more times. Legs are strong, still pressing down. 1 more time. And exhale, back and down. Good. Just lift up the feet. Let your heels go one side to the other. Bring the legs back and down. We're going to push up onto hands and knees. Curl the toes under, and we're going to lift up into first down dog. So you can always make it a little shorter, and you can pedal the legs. Bend one knee and the other knee. Do that a couple times. Now from here then, we're going to just let the knees bend a little bit, stay on the toes, push down into the hands, lift from the palms up through the sit bones, and try to maybe move your chest toward your thighs just a little bit more. Activate and get those arms nice and strong. 1 more breath. Now lift up through the knees, try to descend the heels down. And then we're going to look in between the hands and step that right foot forward. Bring the left knee down. You can always bring the left knee down first if you need to. Once again, you're going to have your bricks handy. And we're going to start to come up with hands now on the right knee. Okay. The scissoring action again. So pressing down into your right heel and drawing it in and toward your body. Trying to press down into your back knee and pull that forward. Feel the activity from your pelvic floor coming up and radiating into your abdominals, your low back. As you're ready then, inhale and bring the arms up. So the tailbone's dropping down, the navel's gently coming in to support. You can glide the hips forward like you see Elodie doing. You can find maybe of this lifting a little bit more up through the sternum, but keep good support in the abdominals and in the back. 1 more breath, keep the legs nice and active. Good. And on your exhale, you're going to start to bring the arms back and down. Find your bricks. Now again, here's where we're going to actively work the hamstrings. So I'm going to use my bricks. I'm going to bring my hips back, almost straighten out this front leg. My hamstrings don't like to have this knee fully straight, so I keep a light bend here. Now as I come forward, what I'm going to start to do is push down into this front heel and drag it back. So now the hamstring's working, but as I exhale and try to lower my body a little bit more, now I'm eccentrically lengthening it as well. Really good for this muscle. 1, 2, or 3 more breaths here. And then come on up to release. We're going to use the bricks or just use your hands. Curl the back toe under. Lift up through this leg. We're going to step forward. Go ahead and inhale here and exhale, fold forward again. And then we're going to inhale all the way up. Root down to the feet, but lift through the arches. Reach up towards the sky. And again, we're going to do that twist. Exhale to the right. Hold for a breath or 2. Inhale back to center as you're ready. Same thing to the left. Then back to center. And exhale your hands to your heart. Good. Take a moment to pause. Check in with your body, your breath, your mind, your emotions. How's everything doing right now? Remember your commitment to doing what's right for your body. Now this next one that we're going to go into, we're not going to be kneeling down. So if you want to, you can move that blanket out of the way. If you've got a blanket in the middle of your mat, you are still probably going to want to have your 2 blocks towards the front of your mat. Okay, Samastahiti again, our attention pose. Hands to the heart, bowing and honoring your intention, your dedication. On the inhale then, we're gonna lift the arms up, Urdhva Astasana. Exhale, fold it forward, coming back and down into our forward bend. Inhale right away here into a flat spine position. And on the exhale, step your left leg back. Okay, so right here, what you want to do is just make sure that we're going to go into a forward bend in a little bit. If you're going to want to have your bricks there within reaching zone for your hands. Now this is crescent pose. I'm going to show you a little bit from the side. Crescent pose usually has this back heel up, but you can take that back heel down if it feels more comfortable, like more like a warrior one. Right here, before you go up fully into it, what I want you to do is see if you can find that scissoring action of your legs. It's a little bit more difficult here. Be careful of this back leg, not too strongly engaged. Just the right amount. Front leg pressing down, dragging back. Back foot pressing down, dragging forward. Again, it should feel stability here. Now try to find those outside muscles you use for clamshells and try to hug them in towards each other. You should feel fairly stable from the bottom part of your body. Now draw the tail down. Again, lightly lift the pit of the abdomen in and up. And now bring the arms up. So this is either our crescent pose or warrior one. Take a couple breaths here. Find and feel how this feels coming into this one. Inhale here. On the exhale, bring the arms into cactus arms. And exhale, twist towards your front leg. Hold for a breath or two. Inhale back forward. Good. Now we're going to start to come forward into a forward bend. So what I want you to do is lightly start lifting this leg. If you can, you're going to straighten it and hinge from the hips. This is going to be a nice stretch of the hamstrings. But again, keep that foot pressing down and dragging back towards you. Inhale here, get some length in the spine. On the exhale, gently folding forward. Now I can't go down too far, so I'm going to use my bricks and stay in a flat spine position. Those of you guys who want to fold forward farther, feel free to start to now round the spine and hold for 1, 2, or 3 breaths. Once you've done those breaths, you're going to start to bend your front knee again. And inhale, we're going to come back and up. Good. And to celebrate, we're going to come down and do a yoga push-up. Yay! Exhale, bring the hands down. Step it back into either plank, knee plank. All right? See if you can hold this for a breath or two. Do that dragging action of your hands and your feet towards each other. When you're ready, either with knees down or knees lifted, lower lightly down. And then come up either into cobra, keeping the legs down, or lifting the thighs and coming up into up dog, Urdhva Mukha. And then curl the toes under. On an exhale, moving yourself back into Adho Mukha. If you need to rest, or if you just simply have had enough, bring the knees down and come back into child's pose. Those of you that want to, stay here in your down dog for again 1, 2, or 3 more breaths. Feel your hands rooting down, lifting from the arms up through the sit bones, feet rooting down, lifting from the arches up through the sit bones. The knees again can be slightly bent. Now those of you guys who are in child's pose, come on up onto your knees to join us. Those of you guys in down dog, we're going to step the left foot forward. Everybody left foot forward. We're going to come up into, again, crescent pose. Make sure if you're going to want those bricks to have them handy right here. Starting to come up, again, the back heel could be lifted or the heel could be down. Start to find your scissoring, pressing down into the front foot, drawing that back towards you. Pressing down into your back foot, whether the heel is lifted or down, and trying to draw that forward. Feel that stability, then start to hug from the outer hips in towards each other. Find your tail going down, this feeling of the pit of the abdomen coming in, supporting you. Now we're ready, crescent. Inhale up. Find this beautiful expression of this. Feel the stability in the lower part of the body, the lifting up through the upper part of the body. One more if you can. Good. Now we're going to start to come into that forward bend. So starting to lightly lift through this front knee, maybe all the way. Starting to hinge from the hips. Find again, some of you may be able to use your leg, or you're going to want the bricks. Some of you may go down to the ground. Pressing down into this heel, dragging this foot back towards you to keep some work happening into the hamstring while it's still lengthening. One more breath here. Good job. Now start to bend this knee. What we're going to do is we're going to just step forward You can have your feet either together or slightly apart. We're going to come up into chair pose. So swing the arms forward, drop the sit bones down. I'm going to show you a little bit from the side. You can have a little light lift through the upper back or not. Good. Now just for a moment, stay with this position in your lower body, but bring your hands down to your hips. Inhale up a little bit. We're going to take and we're going to do that number 4 like we did on the ground before. So this is where you may want to have a chair or a wall for some support. So this is what it's going to look like. I'm going to start to lift up the right leg, externally rotate it, cross this thigh. And now if you can, you're going to start to sit down, but keep pressing this leg down into that thigh. Only go as far as is comfortable, either using your support. Those of you guys who want to now lift your arms up like a chair pose again, you can, or leave your arms down for more balance. One more breath. And then we're going to come up, release, set that down. Woohoo! All right, we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So again, starting to find stability. If you're using something for balance, you may want to turn your body around so you can use either that chair or that wall for balance. Inhaling, I'm going to start to now lift up the left leg, bring that knee up, open it out to the side, start to bring that foot across this thigh. Inhaling here and just finding how far might you want to sit down. You don't have to, you can just stay right here. Pressing this top leg though down and into that thigh as maybe your body lowers. Lift up towards chair pose if you want to, or you can keep your hands down here if you have it helps you find your center of balance a little bit more. I can't stay there. One more breath if you can. Good. Then start to stand it up. Bring the arms down. Move this leg. Set it to the side. Good. Just take your legs. Do a little shaking out. And then take your hands on your hips and just do some nice circles with the hips themselves. And then to the other side. Good. All right. So we're going to do one more, and we're going to come down into this through a sun salutation again. So towards the front of your mat. You may again want to have your bricks, keep them towards the sides of your mat. Samastahiti, which means the hands are in front of the heart. This is called the attention pose. Bowing down, remembering your intention and dedication. On the inhale, we're going to lift the arms up. Exhale, folding forward from these wonderful hips into our forward bend. Inhaling into the flat spine position. On the exhale, we're going to take that right leg back. And you're going to set the hands down or onto your bricks if you need a little bit more height. Right here, we're going to come into a twist. So a couple ways of doing this. Some of you guys that are feeling like you want to work your core a little bit more, you might want to do this by bringing your hands in a prayer pose and twisting towards this bent knee. If you're not up to that today or it doesn't feel right, put your hand either on the ground, your right hand on the ground or on your brick, and then work with it here. Either one. Start to move yourself into your twist. Reach back through your right heel and out through the crown of your head. See if you can hold for 1, 2, or 3 breaths. And then on the exhale, come on back down. Move the bricks off to the side. We're going to step it back again into that plank position or knee plank. I'm going to show you knee plank. Elodie's in a regular plank. So right here, we're still lifting from the underside of the body, trying to drag the hands back, the feet or the knees forward. When you're ready, lower down gently and with control, all the way down to the ground or coming up into Urdhva Mukha. I'm going to stay down on the ground into Cobra, and then we're going to come onto the knees and exhale up and back into Down Dog. Take a couple breaths in Down Dog. If you're feeling like you need a rest right now, bring the knees down to the ground. You can always rest in Child's Pose. Those of you guys that can, stay here in Down Dog for another 2 or 3 breaths. Feel your hands and your feet grounding, but these energy lines leaching through your arms and your legs up to your sit bones. Alrighty. And now, we're going to go ahead and we're going to bring that right leg forward. So bringing your knees back up if you were in Child's Pose, stepping forward with that right leg. And we're going to come into the twist again. So if you are using the brick, you're going to want it for your left hand. If you're not using the brick, bring your hands into prayer pose in front of the heart. Starting to twist, maybe you can take that elbow to the outside of the knee. I'm going to stay here with my left hand on the brick and start to rotate up through my right arm. Push back through the back heel, out through the crown of the head to continue to find that line, hugging the hips together. One more breath. And then on the exhale, we're going to unwind out of that twist. Good. All right, we're going to step it back into down dog. Take a breath or two here. You can always bend the knees if you need to. All right, come on down and onto the knees. And you can either sit in a cross-legged position or sit on your knees for a moment. What I want to do is I want to show you what we're doing next. We're going to do what is sometimes called pigeon pose, but we're going to do it as an active pose. All right, so we're not going to fold forward and we're not going to bring the hips down. So what I want you to see is from down dog, I'm going to have you extend the right heel up. You're going to bring that knee forward, and that's going to stay in front of the hip by your front hand. I'm actually going to come back so you can see me better. Your foot on the right side is going to stay in front of this left thigh. So here I step back and I come into it like this. My body is still up and into the air. I'm not coming down. I'm not going to come down like this. I'm going to stay up, and then either using the bricks or just using your body, we're going to come up as high as we can. If you can, you're going to lift the arms. Now, the part of this is that this front leg and the back leg are again dragging towards each other to provide the support for me to do this. Okay? So here we go. Let's go back into down dog. If you think you might need your bricks, have them by the sides of your mat. Lift yourself up and into Adho Mukha down dog. All right, we're going to start with the right leg. So take the right leg up and into the air. And on the exhale, start to bring that underneath your body, bending the knee. Place the right knee down by your foot. Your right foot is in front of your left hip. Start the action of dragging your front knee and your back leg towards each other. Create that scissoring action. And then decide, do you want to stay here with your hands on the floor? Do you want to bring your hands up a little bit higher on the bricks? Do you want to lift your hands all the way up into the air? Holding for maybe 1, 2, or 3 more breaths. Beautiful, Elodie. Whew, get some work going. And on the exhale, whenever you're ready, bring your hands back and down. And you're going to start to lift yourself back and up into down dog. Lift up your back leg. Start to take that right leg back. You can always lift it back up into the air. Find a down dog again. You're going to feel a little difference between the right and left sides. And your left side's jealous, so it wants to do the same thing. All right, here we go. Left leg's turn, up and into the air. Exhale, folding that knee underneath your body, setting the knee close to your left hand, your left foot near your right hip. Create the dragging action. The front knee and the back leg are dragging towards each other. Using either your hands on the ground, staying here, maybe coming up with your hands on your bricks. If you're comfortable, you could lift your arms up into the air, but only if it's right for you. Hold again, 1, 2, or 3 breaths. Find the best expression that's right for you, strengthening through the pelvic muscles. And when you're ready, your exhale will bring your hands down. You're going to lift up that back leg, and once again, take that left leg back. Find a down dog for just a moment. And then you're going to look between your hands, and you can either do a little hop forward, crossing your legs together, and come into a sitting position. Just let your legs go out in front for a moment. You can always take your hands back behind you and just wiggle your legs a little bit. Tosca's going to come and help us. Tosca says, it's rest time. As you can see, Tosca's a big dog. He's like a small pony. All right. Now what we're going to do is one other thing here. And for this, you're going to want to have your bricks possibly by your sides. All I want you to do is check out right now is without your bricks, as you bring your hands down to the ground, is it easy or not for you to lift your rear end off the ground? You can keep your heels down. For me, I can't lift very far. My arms just don't feel like they're long enough. But when I bring my bricks over and I use my bricks, oh, look at that. Now I can get my rear end off the ground a little bit more. So that's going to be your test. If you can easily lift your rear end off the ground, you may not need your bricks. I need my bricks. All right. First, though, we're going to do boat pose, everybody's favorite. Navasana is a great one for strengthening both our our abdomen and our low back. But it's important that you keep the line lifting. So Elodie's here demonstrating from the side. So this is the first position. If right here already your abdominals are working a lot, you may not need to go a whole lot farther. Second might be lifting the legs up, but keeping the hands there and just starting to lift. Third might be getting the shins parallel with the floor. Fourth might be starting to extend the legs. And fifth may be then releasing the arms. Good job. I'm glad you're demonstrating this today, not me. All right, come on down. So those are a number of bus stops. Again, no one of them is any better than the other. It really just depends on where your body is at. What we want to do is we want to do a little bit more strengthening here and for the low back. So here we go. We're going to enter into this, and then we're going to use these bricks as we come down. All right, so find your starting position. Stay on your sit bones. Don't let yourself roll up. Lift up through the heart. On an exhale, start to lift into what is the version that's right for you today. And we're going to sing Row, Row, Row Your Boat. Here we go. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. Good. Now cross your legs. Bring them in as close to your rear end as you can. Take your hands either to the ground or to your blocks. Lift up. And if you can, lift your legs up too. Oh, I'm almost there, almost there, almost there. Whew. And come down. Roll your wrists. So for me and my pitiful belly strength, for the next time, I'm going to have my bricks like this. You just want to be careful with your bricks like this because sometimes they want to give out. All right? We're going to do boat pose again. Take them out in front. One more time, get the flesh out from under the sit bones. Find your starting position. Take a nice inhale. On your exhale, lift up. Find again what's the best expression for you for this one. And now, what I want you to do is I want you to think about what was your intention? Who are you dedicating your practice to? Send them 3 more breaths. You can do it. 2, 3, and again, cross your legs. Bring them in nice and close. Find either the floor or your bricks. Start to do your lift up. And then come on back down. Whew, straighten out your legs. Roll out your wrists. Good. Whew, doggy, that was some fun. So now what we're going to do is, just because we've done a lot of things where we've been in flexion, we're going to do a half tabletop position. So I'm going to show you a little bit from the side. You're going to leave your legs bent. Your fingers can be pointed either towards your body, out to the side, or away from your body, whichever one's best for your shoulders. And we're going to lift up like this. You can either keep looking ahead if that's better for your neck, or allow your head to come back. All right? So that's what we're going to do. So come into position. So you're going to have your knees bent, feet on the floor. Your hands are behind you, either your fingers pointing towards you, out to the side, or away from you. Again, ground down into your feet and your hands. Inhale here, lightly dragging them towards each other. On the exhale, start to lift up. Again, feel your gluteals working, your hamstrings working, your low back working. Your head can be still looking forward or drawing back. See if you can hold for 1, 2, or 3 more breaths. Come on down whenever it is you're ready to come down. Feel especially the lift from the gluteals, opening the front of the thighs. Exhale to bring it back down. Once again, go ahead and roll out the wrist. Good. Shake out the arms. Shake out the legs. All right. We're going to go ahead and we're going to do a nice twist here since we've warmed up our hips. So you're going to have your right leg's going to stay up. Your left leg, here's a couple options. This is a pose called Ardha Matsyendrasana, where this front knee is actually in the center of your body and this leg crosses over. But your hip may not be happy with that. So you could always bring this knee back here. And if the left leg is not happy, just extend your left leg straight out and you could do it like this. What I also advise you is, like me, once I start to do this, see how my low back's kind of going like this? I'm going to need to sit on a blanket so that I can get my back straighter. So find if you need a blanket to sit on. And right knee is going to be the one that's going to be bent. Left leg can be out straight. It could be bent and the left foot by your right hip. Your right leg could be like this, or you can do the whole crossing over. Find which position you want to do for your body, and then you're going to start to take your right hand back behind you. Now remember how we worked with active range of motion. In this pose, it's easy to go into passive range of motion by relaxing everything down below and using your hand on this knee to really crank your spine into it. I'm going to suggest you don't do that today. Taking your left hand and having it like a cactus arm, inhale here, first starting, find your grounding through both of your sit bones and both of your feet. Try to hug them as if you're trying to draw everything into the center of your pelvic floor right now. Then on your exhale, start to turn from your spine, and without using your back hand, find that active range of motion. Right here, as you're ready, just go ahead and bring that left arm onto your leg wherever it comes to that's easiest for you. Start to turn your head, chin, and eyes, then soften your eyes or close your eyes and draw your chin down toward your chest. As you do that, you're going to start to hear this soft whisper of your breath. And imagine your breath is coming in through the crown of your head all the way to your pelvic floor. Your exhale is going to bring from your pelvic floor all the way back up and out through the crown of your head. Allow yourself to follow your breath, coming in and down to the pelvic floor. Inhale. Exhale, going back and out through the crown of the head. 3 more breaths like this. After you've taken that third breath, and you're ready to gently start to unwind, come and unwind back to the front. Undoing your legs, straightening them out for a moment. Again, if it's helpful, doing that wiggle wiggle of the feet and the legs, and we're going to switch to the other side. So the left knee is going to be the one that's bent this time. You can find maybe that right knee can come down in the center. Bring that foot over by that hip. You can have the left foot stay here to the outside of the shin or cross it over your right thigh. Again, whichever one you're doing, go ahead and then take your left hand back and behind you. Take a moment here to feel your sit bones grounding down. I can feel in this one that both of my sit bones can't ground down. So I'm going to back off and bring this left knee over here. Okay, now I can ground down through both of them. Now go ahead and take your right arm like a cactus arm. Inhale here, lifting through the crown of the head. And on the exhale, start to rotate to the left. Finding again, where can my body come to on its own, its active range of motion. And then simply letting that right arm come to where it wants to help provide that. Turning the head, chin, and eyes now over the shoulder. Then starting to draw your chin in and down. And beginning to follow your breath, imagining that your breath is coming through the crown of your head all the way down to your pelvic floor in your inhale. Your exhale is bringing it back and up through the crown of the head. Continue following your breath, watching it with your eyes closed or softened. And we're going to take at least 3 more breaths here. Once you've taken those breaths and you're ready to release out of it, gently, mindfully, you're going to exhale back towards the front. Good deal. Go ahead and slide the legs out in front. Give yourself that wiggle wiggle of the legs. And what we're going to do is I'm going to have you come back and down and onto your back. And we're going to do just a few more gentle bridge poses here. So bending your knees back again in that constructive rest position. Your arms can be either way out to the sides or by your body at the side, and just using a few of your inhales and exhales to lift up. Don't worry about activating the legs so much this time. Just allow yourself to release if you've gotten a lot of tension in the front of the thighs. And do this with your breath moving in and out of an easy bridge pose, maybe 2 or 3 times. If on the 3rd time you want to stay up and hold for a few breaths, stay up and hold for a few breaths. Just breathe into the front body, breathe into the front of your legs, breathe into the front of the hips. As you're ready, gently exhale and softly come on back down. And all I want you to do is I want you to ask your body is there anything else that you might want to do before we go into corpse pose? Finding and feeling here that you've got, your body is going to be really super comfortable. So if you want to do anything like a happy baby, or if you want to do another light little twist here on your back, finding and feeling what's going to be right for you. Then as you're ready, you're going to start to get ready for a nice juicy Shavasana or a corpse pose. So if you want to have anything underneath the knees, putting either a roll blanket or maybe a couch cushion underneath the knees. If you want a blanket underneath your head, finding a blanket for putting underneath the head. Shavasana is one of the more important parts of our practice because this is the chance for you to integrate everything that you've done. So I want you to make sure that you've got what you need to be super comfy. Once you have your body ready for that, just do any last wiggles. Find that you're going to just kind of move your head a little bit side to side and that your head's going to be really comfortable exactly where it's at. Tosca, find your comfortable Shavasana position. Move your arms just lightly, making sure that they're in just the right position away from your body. Then you're going to start to find where your legs are in just the right position, moving lightly your sacrum back and forth, so you know that your sacrum is in its just right position. All right. Then what I want you to do is take a couple nice, really full breaths into your abdomen. Soften your jaw, soften your eyes, soften your forehead. Find and feel that you start to feel the muscles of your face relaxing deeply down. The back of your head's really snuggling into either your mat or your blanket. Your eyes are closed, and now all the muscles of your face are relaxed. Jaw is softened, tongue is softened. You feel as though the back of your head is just melting down into the ground. Allow your awareness and your breath to come down into your neck and into your shoulders. Taking a couple nice, really full breaths there. And on your exhales, feeling your throat softening. Feeling your shoulder blades soften down into the ground. Your collarbones may feel like they spread just lightly farther away from each other. The center of your chest relaxes. Allow your breath to flow down into your arms, all the way down to your fingertips. Feel with your exhales that your upper arms, lower arms, and hands just soften and melt down into the ground. There's nothing that you need to carry right now. Arms are relaxed. Fill your torso, your rib cage, your upper and lower back now with your breath. Feel your exhales soften the middle part of your body even deeper down into your mat. The back body relaxing. Rib cage relaxing. Your breath softening even more. And all of the muscles and organs of your mid-body that help do this practice are now softening and relaxing. Especially feel your abdomen soften. Now breathing and inviting your breath to fill your pelvis all the way down to your toes. And feel with your exhales your sacrum snuggle down, melting into the earth. The front part of your pelvis, the muscles and organs deepening their relaxation. Your breath going all the way down your legs and softening now the upper legs, the lower legs, and your feet. There's nothing that you need to carry. All of your body is now completely relaxed. Just for a moment, hear the distant sounds. Without analyzing them, just let your mind go from sound to sound, hearing the sounds around you. And bring your awareness closer in, maybe inside of the room that you're in. And again, just awareness of the sounds. And then bring your awareness in to the sound of your breath. And then allow yourself to release sound. Simply rest and stay in awareness of your body at rest. Gently and easily, start to bring yourself back into awareness of your body wherever it's at, into the feeling of your breath within you. And just taking your time, there's no rush. You may want to gently experience the feeling of lightly moving your fingers and toes and see how that feels right now. And start to work your way through moving your arms a little bit more, your legs a little bit. Maybe starting to bend your knees and either bring your feet onto the floor, draw your knees back and up and into your body. Giving yourself maybe a little soft rocking on your back, maybe a full stretching out of your body. When you're ready, coming over on the side that's most comfortable for you, take a couple breaths there before we transition into sitting up again, and just notice what your corpse pose brought you. What was your experience of that today? And when you're ready to sit up, you let your arms help your body come up. Find again that comfortable seat. We're going to do a few minutes here of some meditation, probably about, I'd say, 7 or so minutes. So finding the supports that'll help you stay in a comfortable seated position during that time. You can either sit in a chair or sitting on some blankets or your blocks, just in some manner so that your spine can be nice and tall. Once you've found a sitting position that's comfortable, again, we're going to come into a place of stillness and either close your eyes or find a gazing spot on the floor lightly in front of you, and then soften your gaze. Again, take a couple breaths to check in right here. Noticing how your body feels right now, how your mind is doing. How is your breath doing right now? Have your emotions changed since the beginning of the class? Just noticing these things. And now all I want you to do is to feel where your sit bones are at, sitting on your whatever supports it is that you're on. Find the feeling of the base of your pelvic floor. For those of you that have worked with your energy system before, you know about your lower energy center called Muladhara. If you're not sure what I'm talking about, just become aware of your pelvic floor. We're talking about the same place. Now I want you to imagine in your body that from your pelvic floor exists a column about the size of one of your fingers, and it extends through the center of your body just in front of your spine all the way up and through the crown of your head. And I want you to imagine this is like a golden column of light. Now, even though this column actually extends beyond your pelvic floor and goes into the earth, right now we're going to once again imagine that your breath is starting at a point above your head. And as you inhale, it comes down through that golden column all the way to your pelvic floor. Your exhale then takes it back and up through this column above your head. And if it's helpful, imagine that within your breath is a point of very soft golden light that comes with your inhale all the way down through that column to the pelvic floor. And your exhale takes that light back and up through the column to the top of your head. Follow your breath and this light as you breathe in and out. Now you may hear a soft whisper within you. And so as you breathe in, you may hear the whisper of the mantra, so. As you breathe out, hum. The vibration as you inhale, so, coming from the point above your head all the way to the pelvic floor. As you exhale back up through the golden column, hum. So, hum. If you can, feel and follow the vibration of the mantra all the way down to the pelvic floor, all the way back it up through the crown of the head. The vibration of the mantra helping us to clear out anything that is getting in the way of us feeling that beautiful vibrancy of our energy. Connecting us from the ground of our being all the way up and beyond us. So, hum. Taking 3 more breaths in this manner. And at the end of your 3rd breath, simply release the mantra, visualization. And again, just simply notice, become aware of your energy. What effect did this meditation have for you? From having observed this, now bring your awareness once again just simply to the sounds that you hear around you. Again, without analyzing what they are, just simply allow yourself to become aware of sounds around you. At the same time, become aware of the silence in between the sounds. Become aware of sound and silence. Even if you're in a location where it feels like there is no space, find the spaciousness within the sounds around you. Now come back into the awareness of your natural breath pattern. Just feel the gentle inhale and exhale, but also become aware of the space or the pause in between the inhale and the exhale and the inhale. breath, and space. And now bring your awareness to your mind. And just simply becoming aware without attachment to what thoughts might be there. And at the same time, become aware of the space between the thoughts. Thought and space. Now releasing that awareness. And just for a moment again, feeling the pelvic floor and feeling that golden column extending down its roots into the earth. Feel the solidity of the earth underneath you, no matter where you're at, how many stories of a building you may be in. Feel the roots of your body extending down and joining with the earth. Feel her solidity underneath you, her stability, yet also feel the spaciousness that exists there within the earth as well. Stability, yet space. Within all of our days, we may have periods of ups and downs, yet there will be pauses and space in between each one of them. May we be able to be present and find the space to be okay throughout our days, weeks, and years. Turning now, if you haven't already, to face your palms upward, and just for a moment, joining your thumbs and index fingers together. This mudra, the chin mudra, helps us to join in with a consciousness within us, that place in us that can find that space, moment by moment. May we then bring our palms together and thumbs to the heart and bow to honor all we are, all we experience. We'll close the practice again with a chant of Om, allowing it to arise again with the Ah, Oo, and the silence after. Exhaling together and inhaling. Namaste. Thank you so much for your practice. Thank you. I hope that this sends you off into a great day and a great weekend. I'm going to come over.